Hello, my name is David Kruglinski, and my company is J Robot Education, and I am seeking funds for the creation of educational software that helps students who are struggling, students who are failing. And maybe they're failing because they have a learning disability, or they don't have motivation, they don't have grit, they have problems at home, or maybe they're failing for reasons not entirely understood. Yet through research, through experimentation, we can still find solutions to teach these failing students. So how do we do that? Well, management is about finding just the right words and just the right tones to make good things happen. And classroom management is finding ways to persuade students and motivate students with just the right words, hopefully with positive reinforcement, to get them to try harder, to try new things, to experiment, to become metacognitive, and to fix whatever is not working for them. So the psychologists Jean Piaget and Lev Vygotsky said that in order to teach a child effectively, you have to find the level of the child first. You have to assess, and then you should teach at that level or a little bit above that level. So I'd like to create educational software that does a lot of assessments. It assesses their reading level, it assesses their math level, it assesses different ways that they learn, and finds the most effective way that they learn. Every child's going to be a little bit different, and the software would do the tedious work that a teacher doesn't have time to do. It would, over weeks, find what works best for the child. It would give a personality test, or maybe assess the child's personalities, find out their favorite colors, their favorite designs, their interests. It would find out what kind of characters they like and what personalities they like in their characters. Maybe they like a little bit of a sense of humor, but I know some children don't like sense of humor at all. They're offended by it. So the software over weeks would find out the answers to these things and deliver a lesson very customized and very perfect just for the child. And that's what I mean by good classroom management, finding just the right words, just the right tones, just the right images, at just the right pacing to help that child. The best students usually don't need that, but the worst students often need a lot of coaxing and a lot of persuading to get them to do well. You got to get everything just right. Again, very hard for a teacher, but much easier for a computer to assess the level of the child, what the child likes, and then remember that and recall that when needed, and create a worksheet or a lesson or activity that's customized just for the child. I believe that can make a big difference in helping a failing student. The software is going to start with a basic assessment for personality. It's going to find out your likes and dislikes. It's going to find out what kind of characters you'd like to be leading you through the journey. And then it's also going to be assessing your knowledge. Maybe you already know a lot about igneous and sedimentary rocks, and it can kind of skip you ahead. It's going to move you to the level you need to be so that you're not bored and you're not overwhelmed. When the software starts, it's going to have characters that you chose using the voice that you seem to like. It's also going to be constantly self-assessing. Maybe it needs to change the characters, or as it learns something new about you, it's going to change the way it teaches you. Maybe you're a big fan of classic cars, so the background might look like a 57 Chevy. Or maybe just the opposite. You require a very plain and basic background. You don't like a lot of distractions, so the software will be assessing that as well. The teacher will receive reports. There's going to be constant assessments, and the computer is going to be giving the teachers all kinds of ideas and information on how to be the best teacher a teacher can be. This is an assessment for students that just learned the interior of the Earth, and it asks the student, please click the inner core, and 95% of my students get that right. Please click the outer core. Again, almost all of my students can do that. Now click the mantle. Again, another easy one. Can you click the crust? A lot of my students know that this very thin brown layer represents the crust, But some of my students, usually less than 5%, have motor skills difficulties, and that means that aiming the mouse precisely is very difficult. So they try to click it, but they don't have very good aim, and they keep missing it. So the software detects that maybe you have motor skills difficulties and you need the crust to be a little bit larger. It offers an apology, it adjusts the amount of tries it took, and now you're all set to click the crust. And the software is going to remember that you had that struggle, and it's going to make other things later on that are very difficult to click larger and easier to click. So this is the way the software detects a disability or a struggle and makes the software accommodating for that struggle. So a lot of what I'm proposing is based on nearly 10 years of design-based research. I write computer programs for my students. I bring it in on a Tuesday. They can't stand it. They're not learning anything from it. I go home all humble. Tuesday night, I'm reprogramming it, changing it, modifying it. I bring it in Wednesday. They still don't like it. I go home again. I change it again. Thursday, they like it a little better. Friday, maybe they like it a little better. After a few days of this, after a few weeks, after a few months, I'm starting to get all the students to be really quiet and really engaged, and they're all learning. And I give them quizzes, I give them tests, I measure the results, and I see that the software is working. So this is the foundation of my research and my work, and why, if I had the right amount of funds, I believe I could make very, very excellent educational software. My name is David Kruglinski. Thank you for your time.